deck. Promessa, whichever you prefer, to continue our journey to 1000. If memory serves correct, this deck should be a fun one. So let's give a quick little run through of our cards and see what will be at hand tonight. We've actually had a couple decks by the creators of this one. I think most notably the, Cyberware deck and the Modern Idols. Those are some fun ones for sure. So tonight we have a nice goldish yellow to continue our journey. So as we shuffle up our cards, please get yourself nice and comfy and ready for game number 1. I think that should be good for us to begin. What was that, about 5 shuffles or so with some cuts in between? If you've missed our last one, our last episode, check it out. Definitely an interesting one on a couple fronts. Wouldn't want you to miss it. But for tonight, let's enjoy what's at hand and see if we can add any stats to our journey. I actually think this deck is almost exactly like the Galaxia deck. Do I know what those words mean? No clue. But hey, they're cool, I guess. Not much else to it besides that. So this looks to be a tough start for game 1. There we go. That is what we need to alleviate some worries. Cover up the queen, and we third play are good to continue. Alright, so red 7 would be ideal with a black king. There's the red 7. There is a red king. Now a black queen would be ideal. Let's see, black queen and a maybe black 7. I think the spacing is too off on this one to give us a fighting chance. But now that we have 2 kings down, maybe a red 9 would be a good fit to help us any of you right now? Are you watching that? And where are you in the show? I am just before the final couple episodes of season 5. And you know what's going on there with Lalo, Saul Goodman, and the courts. That's where I'm at. To keep it a little, what's the word? Coded, in case anyone out there still hasn't seen it and plans to. I think that was our third play. Here we go. Put down that 2. And if we can put down a black queen, which we do, I'm pretty sure we just won our first game of the night without a fat stack at that. So let's make this a done deal as we wait for the 6 of spades. And that, my friend, is how you clinch the first win of the night. 7, 8, 6, and 7. Let's stack it up and do our victory shuffle. It makes me wonder where our milestone wins or victories are. You know what I mean? Like, for all we know, this could be our 250th win, 400th, 500th, 333rd win. Anyway, all the spades, ace to king, with all the diamonds. Next, the hearts, followed by the diamonds. Let's get this one going. Ooh, a little chunky, quick recovery. And a decent recovery. But do we maintain it? And then we recover at the aces, so not a bad victory shuffle. Let's do one more to see if we can get any sets of 4. And I don't think we are. This deck isn't too durable, so it has quite a bit of bend. So less control, as it looks like all we get are the last 4 aces. Let's do a casino shuffle for game number 2. And you know what? Let's take tonight down a different turn and keep it a little bit in the sci-fi fantasy world. So, since this deck does seem to have a space theme, let's talk about space and all space travel, I should say, loosely. So, how many of you, if given the option, would travel space for 5 years? Everything you need to survive, essentially like food, water, housing, would be stable, but everything else would you take that opportunity? Personally, I would not. I have never been too much into space travel for myself, or even fantasizing about it. As a kid, you always hear the cliche that a young boy would like to be an astronaut. And I thought, no. Because something I was always concerned about, when I picture an astronaut, I picture them walking, having to repair their spacecraft on the outside of the ship. And I assumed that their gear, they would have an attachment like a safety harness to keep them close to the ship, as well as some sort of like magnetic boots, as I think that might be the end of our second game so quickly. And I was always, it didn't terrify me, but the idea of losing contact with your ship and aimlessly aiming throughout space until that's it for our second game. Your oxygen supply ran out, and then pressure would get to you, and all of that grossness. That didn't seem like a fun possibility of happening. You could say, yes, there are many other unsafe circumstances that could happen that are more likely here on Earth, such as a triple queens, killer queens added to the stats, such as automobile accidents. And that is true, but I would not like to be staring off into nothingness with no guidance of force or gravity coasting me through space. That was something that always sounded terrifying, so the idea of being an astronaut never lived in my mind. And that's not all of what being an astronaut encompasses, but just the unknown dangers of space were always not my curiosity. Enough other passionate people have it, and I'll let them grow their knowledge and further humankind with that. Anyway, did I just shuffle this deck 4 times? I forget. So that's like the first thought. Let's go to a fun one that doesn't involve the last flight of your life. Alright, which space universe would you like to live in? And universe is used in the sense of like the Batman universe, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, not Planet of the Apes, actually, I think Planet of the Apes, Lost in Space, and so on. What would your ideal space world be? Let me think about this one, because in a lot of those worlds, it's actually, a lot of them are very different, while they're similar in their own ways. Instinctively, I would like to say Star Wars. It seems like they had a pretty good order of operations. Not everyone was involved. It's pretty much like a universal dictatorship, where as long as you do well, you're fine. Unless you're part of the rebellion. I don't know. Let's add a layer to this question. What universe would you want to live in, and what would your role in that universe universe be? Now, to make a little guideline, your role can't be, let's say, Spock or Anakin Skywalker, but more of an NPC to the universe. But what would your role be? I'm just gonna stick with Star Wars. And it sounds kind of fun being a clone, but then again, when you think about it, it sounds absolutely awful. I know a lot of other shows and movies have different types of races in space. And what's funny about that, there typically isn't triple tens, that's why. There isn't space racism, which is really funny to me. When you'd think there'd be almost every reason to be racist in space, because it's not just the same world, a different world. Oh, it is a different world. I don't know. That's a different question all in itself. Somebody please ask that or quote that in the comments. Would you be a space racist? Reading that with no context, I'm already smiling. And I'm not even kidding. I think you'd kind of have to be. Here it is. I say it now. 777s now. I would be a space racist with my current way of thinking. And here is why. As it looks like that's the end of this game, so double checking everything else. No play left to make. On to game number 4. Typically, racism is not a good thing. I think we can all agree on that. So, why is space racism acceptable? Well, first off, we are the human race in this sense. And with us, we have companions such as the canine race. I don't know the specifics. Pretty stupid in that, but there are other creatures, other races that exist with us. And there are races that I do not like. Like, I hate the idea of living next to a swamp because of alligators and crocodiles. I think we've all racially profiled here. I bet we've seen a spider at some time say, I want to kill that thing, yet it's done nothing wrong to you. Nor will it probably ever will. It maintains our ecosystem. But when you see those little 8 legs curl up, it feels as if they're staring and watching you. And you are a racist against spiders. Or speciesist, but I think it's about the same thing. Involving, like, space. I see a dog, and instantly I think pet. So I have a positive racist tendency towards dogs and cats. Yet, there are many reasons for there not to be a positive correlation between the two. So I would assume, to a universal scale, if we knew of other species, that there is a perfectly valid reason to be racist towards them. If you don't know much about them, because instinctively I think we're meant to judge a book by its cover to decide if we're safe or not. And if we were to see a 14-foot tall spider and that were a race, I would want to destroy that planet as quick as possible, as we have a triple king star. Or if there were a planet existing of a whole bunch of reptiles, similar to crocodiles and alligators, iguanas, yet they have speeds to which they could travel regular tempo is 24. Would you want to be with that? I doubt it, because they're probably carnivorous. So that has a valid means of racism in it. You could tell I was fun in debate class, couldn't you? I think you got the point. Let's see if we can grab our second win of the night. That feels so long ago. Oh, what did I do with those? That's interesting. Alright. Let's see if there's another question to be discussed. Oh. Do you think in our lifetime we will find another planet with intelligent life, or discover another form of intelligent life not inhabited on our Earth? Now that one, I have no idea, as it looks like that's the end of our fourth game. So there's nowhere for that 5, king, 8, 5, 4, or 8. On to game number 5, our final of the night. So a strong first one, followed by 3 duds. Right. I think so. Lots of doubles so far. Triple 4s. And just triple 4s added to the negative stats. I swear it doesn't feel like this is our 5th game, but it has to be. Alright, one more question. Actually, let's make it 2. If you could spend one day in any fictitious universe, which universe would it be, and where? And the last one, since it's loosely on the subject, do you believe in aliens? And I'm talking about the Area 51, buggy-eyed, gray men type aliens. Because honestly, as a kid, very few things freaked me out. Ideally, I should say. One was zombies, because that has a lot of... it plays with reality quite a bit. But just for whatever reason, the idea of the unknown, slender, gray, wide-eyed aliens scared the crap out of me. I don't know why, but it just instinctively made my back just tingly and not feel safe. And for those of you with evolutionary beliefs, instinctive beliefs, what does that tell you? If that type of image evokes fear in so many people, were they real? Okay, if you couldn't tell, I was just being a little silly right there. But you never know. Honestly, I don't believe in those types of aliens. But I don't know than you ever will know. There's a better way of putting it. And unless there's concrete evidence against something, I usually keep it typically in the possible category, as I think that's our final game of the night. As there's nowhere for that 10, 9, 3, 6. Oh, wait a second. I guess there is somewhere for that 6. Good. I love how our episodes get so weird in a sense. Now I think we're done. Nowhere for that 10, 9, 3, king, 10. Oh, we just reached the end. I just remembered we forgot to give this deck its rating. Well, durability is actually pretty low, not the best at all. Visuals are very nice, the very good gold color to accompany the deck. Has a decent texture, but all in all, I'd give it a 7.5. Triple tens, 9-3, double king. Let's clean it up and see the cards that were left unturned in this one. Is there a chance? That's amazing. I believe, besides these two cards, they were all doubles. Double, 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 double. Okay, almost. Alright, my friend. That is it. We just finished up another episode. Another step closer to 1,000, and it was a fun one. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and for now, please have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night. And until we meet again, stay safe and eat your fruits and vegetables.